Good afternoon, everybody. It's great to be here to share a little bit about our journey at Mount Alexander Shire. I've been a newbie in that region, having been only there for 5 years. But I've got to keep pointing this way. Yeah. So Mount Alexander Shire, for those of you who may be from interstate or elsewhere, it's 75 minutes from Melbourne, just up the Calder Freeway, so a bit north-northwest. And the sustainability group was established in 2008 or thereabouts, and have done many fascinating, interesting projects, and a lot of those have now spawned into organisations under their own right. And originally, there was a big push when I arrived on community wind, and that was a very challenging place to be for all sorts of reasons which we're aware of. But and then that morphed into community renewables and to where we are now. So it's been an interesting journey for ourselves. Evidence that it's not all plain sailing is an experience of trying to engage some of the communities around wind, and you've got the placebo, nocebo, and all those sorts of things. And so it really was a great lesson that to move forward, engaging the community at every step, almost in lockstep, is just absolutely essential. You can't make too many assumptions around this, and the closer the better in many respects. So we got close to them for the wrong reason, but we then re-harnessed and used our energy to move to the next step here. So we thought, well, it's important to understand the community, so we mapped that out. Not that we didn't know it, but just drawing this out and understanding those relationships is a really important first step. And then we sat down, how do I go backwards, sorry? Yeah. Then we asked ourselves, well, what actually is our purpose? What brings people, largely volunteers, to show up each time? Because everyone's put a lot of passion and energy into it. But so we needed clarity for ourselves. So we developed this vision, and it's stood us in good stead. And everything we do, we really need to assess and test against that vision. Are we on track? And part of that question is, what do we stand for? You know, what are we? Who are we anyway? Are we the community, or are we just a bunch of crazy people who are fanatical about providing climate change solutions? So we got to the point where now we clarified that we wanted to be zero net emissions 2025, which is a really sharp, specific goal that we could share with people, because everyone can relate to that rather than just nebulous points on a page. And so the question was, well, what if? Which path do we want to take? Many options there. Can we create the future that we want to see in the Shire? So what if is a great question, because it's not taking a stand with someone automatically will oppose. It's just saying, well, what if we could do this? What if we could be zero net emissions? What if we could harness the energy? What if the people get involved? What would it look like? What if we could co-own this stuff? So the context for our thinking was informed by the blue economy, and there's a little question up there, a little puzzle. It's a bit like E equals MC squared, but it's our own version of that I made up the other day. And so the blue economy, which is all about using what's locally available, abundant, and it's easy, rather than the green economy, which is desirable, but it's sort of hard, you know. And moving also from this linear model, wasteful model of take, make, waste, into a circular economy model where there is no waste. And you can just imagine that circular economy and all the money that's leaving each of our districts through the energy that we burn, the fossil fuels we use, and so on. So we start off by saying, well, where are we in that sense? And we undertook a natural asset mapping of the region. This is one of the regions where we had some controversy around the wind. So we engaged with them and tried to work out, well, what is nature giving us? In the farmland, in the little hydro unit really wasn't being used, with biofuels, large-scale wind, small-scale wind, and so on. Really just laid it all out on the table. And that provides actually a useful framework for us to use into the future. And ultimately, it's all about balance, where we don't want trade-offs. We don't want to build infrastructure that actually compromises the environment or the community. We actually want to lift them all together. So we've got the bits of the jigsaw puzzle on the left-hand side. The challenge is, how do we rearrange these in a way to actually convert that into value and an energy that we can use? So there's lots of design options to consider. And we came up with this, which is, someone said to me this morning, it's a bit like the underground. So maybe it's the Mount Alexander Shire underground, like the train network in London. So the idea is that it follows that closed loop model. So at the top you have the energy from energy sources there coming in. It goes into a form with the technology on the left-hand side, which is the conversion, where we convert it through an anaerobic digester, the hydro, solar, biochar, heat plant, wastewater treatment plant and so on, and we feed it in a useful form to the end users, and what's left over then gets put back into the system again. So it's a no-waste model, it's a circular economy model, and hopefully there's no revenue leakage from the community, or that's the intention anyway. So, infographic we produced for the community, and we've undertook a pre-feasibility study, which is a critical element actually getting us to where we are now. Here's our roadmap to 2025, which includes all the different technology we're familiar with, including soil carbon, which is a balancing item because soil carbon sequesters energy on emissions far more efficiently than anything else that we know. It's a bit of a secret, that one. But essentially, we've got an industrial site south of Castlemaine where we've co-located the landfill, the wastewater treatment plant and a foundry. We've got Don Small Goods playing one of the collaboration partners, alliance partners. We've got Colaban Water, and there's an unprecedented level of enthusiasm now with those industrial partners, plus the local council as well. And we're lucky in getting funding from state government and the federal government. So we're ready now to press the button on launching a full feasibility study and business case that will hopefully build us a digester, an anaerobic digester, and provide all these other co-products at the same time. So that's what 2017 looks like for us. So yeah, thank you.